My name is Colm Laverty and I'm a filmmaker based in Belfast. Over the last decade or so, I've been involved with quite a few projects in local music and arts and film industries. I've worked as a music photographer, assistant editor, behind the scenes videographer. My primary role is as a freelance filmmaker. I've done quite a few music videos and short documentaries and live sessions and commercial videos and things like that. And most recently I've been involved with Northern Ireland Screen and I've been using their digital film archive quite a bit. I'm going to talk a bit about that today. The first proper experience with Northern Ireland Screen was through the artist Melodian, Stevie Scullion. We went over to Chicago the year before. I went over to document him in the studio with Steve Albini.
This is the exciting part of making a record.
I ended up turning it into like a feature-length documentary, and it got shown all over Ireland, different film festivals, things like that. So it seemed to go down well, and Stevie seemed to enjoy working with me, so we ended up working together again on a new project for Digital Film Archive and BFI for the theme Coast. So naturally we ended up in a lighthouse on Rathlin Island. When NS Screen first approached Melodian, it was just supposed to be for a gig at a coastal location with some archive materials projected in the background, and because Stevie had worked with me before, he was looking to maybe do something a bit different, and I made a short documentary of them recording a little bit of guitar and vocals and weird sound effects there, and that's sort of set the tone for our work over Stevie's next album, Let Your Weirdness Carry You Home. We were kind of given free rein of the archive a little bit. We were asked to just find some coastal themed clips and work them into a music video somehow, and we ended up finding quite a few tourist board videos and home movies and Super 8 footage from 50s, 60s, 70s, and we ended up using a few of like Portrush in the summertime. And
Portrush is surrounded on both sides by two beautiful strands of golden sand, and it was here on the west strand that we relaxed on our first afternoon.
People jumping off diving boards and running about parades and climbing up sand dunes and all these summery sort of vibes, and it seemed to really fit the music really well. So we worked some of that footage into a music video for Some New Bones. One of the first clips that really stood out to me was a piece called Beauty to Last.
Stand on the Antrim coast, high above Murlough, in the dawn of a clear day, and look across the narrow seas, the Sea of Moyle, to Scotland. So much beauty remains unspoilt.
The film explores the natural beauty of Northern Ireland. There's lots of nice shots of mountains and trees and coasts and things that we might look at now that might have looked exactly the same 1,000 years ago.
This shore still must look much as it did when Stone Age man first ran his frail craft onto this coast. In thousands of years, so little has changed.
Working with something like that really brought home how significant archive material is. You know, that I could be working with something that was shot 60, 70 years ago, and how many eyes must have seen it over the years, and how many eyes are maybe going to see it in the future. And it just felt nice to be part of that history in some way.
All of it is ageless, timeless. Today, tomorrow, yesterday, what does it matter? Man comes and goes like a plume of breath on the air of a frosty morning.
So I ended up making a full visual accompaniment to Melodian's album, and I ended up going on tour with Melodian as a live projectionist. I would have created live visuals unique to certain towns or venues, and I would have put together a live visual show for that one gig, and that seemed to get quite a few powerful reactions. Through doing these shows and doing these projections, I really got to connect with people through the archive. People come up to me afterwards saying that they recognise their grandparents or where their town used to look years ago and how they remembered certain things from their childhood and how it really brought back memories, and I thought there was really profound connections with people in some moments.
Yeah, just to watch that footage and to try and recognise places from Northern Ireland, and as a kid who was born in the late 60s, it just was so much footage, so many things that took you right way back to your childhood. I had no idea that that all existed.
One of my favourite collections in the archive is by the Spence brothers, Roy and Noel. Over the course of the 70s, 80s, they made a lot of low-budget documentaries and B-movies and sci-fi movies, and they're really visually striking, especially since you know it's a low budget and they're only using local actors or homemade props. But it's really inspiring to watch, especially since you know what their limitations are and how inventive they were with that. And it's been great recontextualising that and using some of it in my own work with Melodian and other artists. Not only is the archive important for keeping cultural and social memories alive, but it's also a great learning tool for Northern Ireland's history and its industry.
In the towns, the busy mills make linen from the flax grown in the surrounding countryside.
I had the pleasure recently of working with NI Science Festival on a project about linen.
This is one of our most famous industries and provides work for many thousands of people.
It was fascinating going on that journey from hand-spun weaving mills to proper factories and towns being built around those factories. It really felt like this was the making of a modern Northern Ireland, and almost all of it is there captured in the archive.
Once upon a time, handloom weavers were to be found everywhere in Ulster, in their cottages, in town and country. The noise of the shuttle as it sped backwards and forwards was known to everyone.
Even after a few hours looking through the archive, I started to really learn a lot about the linen industry and how it was made and its historical context, and especially since it's not really a thing here anymore, it could have been one of those things that was maybe lost to time forever if it wasn't for the vital preservation of NS Green's archive, and it's something that future generations can really learn a lot from.
Out of the turmoil of volcano, wind and water, nature has given us a beautiful land. We who inherited so much must try to hand it on unspoiled. Unless we do it, there will be nothing left for the generations beyond.
Through my own work with the archive, I feel like it's really enriched my understanding of Northern Irish history, and it's really broadened my horizons to the type of work I'm able to do, especially during coronavirus, where I'm not able to shoot my own material. It's a great tool that I would recommend to anyone who's a filmmaker or a student, or just anyone who's interested in Northern Irish history at all, and it's a tool I hope to use more in the future.
But in Ulster, roots go deep, and ties with soil and sea are strong. At Carrick-a-Reid, the wheel comes full circle. When Alec McNeil and Pat Donnelly put up the rope bridge in the spring, as has been done for generations, it does more than span the 80-foot chasm between island and mainland. It links past and present.